Hello, this is NoxLumens. Last night I went through this box. It's called Support. It's from HacktheBox, and it's part of TJ NULLS list for the OSCP, right? So his updated list. Anyway, I started going through it last night, and I got stuck for so long trying to make the ticket. And when it gets to that stage, you'll see that. But I decided that I'm just going to kind of walk through my steps that I took to get domain administrator, and by that I mean NT authority system, not domain administrator. Yeah, so let's kind of jump into it. The way that I like to start everything, I like starting off with rust scan. Oh man, I bet this wiped it, didn't it? Oh, it didn't wipe it. Go me. So I like to start off with rust scan. Let me remove this so that it doesn't go off and create another InMap file here. But start off rust scan, we're doing new limit 5000, address, my address. The address isn't going to work anyway because it's not right. Yes. No. Address isn't right. 10, 129, 213, 105. There we go. Now it'll start pumping out. Okay. Yeah, so I start off with rust scan, and then we're doing --, and then we're going to do default scripts and enumerate versions, and output InMap format to a file called immap.md. Immap.md because Obsidian uses .md files, which allows me to then view this file here where we see DNS, Kerberos, SMB, LDAP, WinRM, LDAP-S, and then some high Windows ports. Out of all of these, to me, the first thing that looks interesting is actually the SMB shares, right? Like, so we want to check for anonymous login, stuff like that. So I'm going to do SMB client, tac L, --, tac, 10, 129, 213, 105. And then flashes there. And no login. Let's do, could do like tac in, and that's no password. So now what stands out here the most out of all of these is the support tools, right? Back in 10, 129, 213, 105 / support tools. That's LS, and we can see a bunch of tools in here. So this is like IT support shares. A lot of the time they'll have tools, common tools that they use over and over. The only one that stands out of all of these as a tool that's, I guess, just exists, right? Like all of these exist. These tools, all of these tools, and also it's the only one that was has a different date. I'm kind of giving it away. So what we're gonna do is actually grab this. We will get this file, and then let's exit out ls. I'm actually going to make a directory and call it support tools, and then move user info into support tools and see if that works. CD support tools. There we go. Now let's unzip it. Unzip user info.exe, ls, back LA, clear the screen and get some better looking output. So let's see. There are a few things that you could do. You could do, I'm about to say debugging, but that is not the correct terminology. You could do like reverse engineering, I want to say, decompiling. Yeah, I want to say you could decompile it. And find the password that way. I didn't do that. I used wine, and it kind of took me a minute to set wine up. I had to I was missing something called wine mono, and ended up having to get that installed first. So I did run into some problems trying to do this at first, but initially I just kind of wanted to see what it did. So I did wine, user.info.exe. Hopefully it actually does something. Yes, cool. And we get the output. So we can either find a user or get information about a user. So let's do find. Let's see what happens. So it's saying that we need to supply a first or a last name. And you can see that I supplied a name of admin and V. So it's my assumption is that it's making a call LDAP right here. So it's querying LDAP and it's testing to see if a user's if there's an administrator user, and then it would like pull back information. So what is it going to have in order to make that query, right? It's got to have like some credentials. And that's where we can do something. I'm not sure if it's actually a pass back attack or not. And that might just be because I'm not entirely clear with that. Like pass back attack to me is like their credentials stored inside of a I don't know, in like a field, in like a password field maybe. And then let's say there's a section where there's a server and you can put in an IP address or a host name. And then it authenticates to that host name or IP address with that password that's in that field, that's stored in that field. And what you can do is put your own IP address or something like that and make it authenticate to you. And what it's going to do is send you that password in the clear, right? Well, my assumption is maybe we could do something similar, right? And so popped up, opened up Wireshark, and I'm looking down ton 0. And then let's go ahead and make this query again. And record gods permitting, we will see the request come back. And that's looking kind of goofy. Let's try this again. We're getting the same information. Requests and TCP resets. So I'm seeing retransmissions. All right, let me do a little bit of debugging and then I'll unpause. So the thing is that it's making a call. It's not making a call to my IP address. Let me try to, 10, getting data for admin. It's interesting. Okay. Yeah, let me restart the box and I'll be right back. Okay, for the sake of my sanity, I went ahead and made sure that it works again. Also, interestingly enough, when I've restarted the box, the IP updated to the one that it was showing us before. So what we should see coming through here is actually 10.129.230.181, which is what it was trying to make a connection to before. Yes, and then at our first LDAP request, we can see we expand this out. It's bind request, and it's sending its user information. We look at LDAP, and we kind of expand all of this out. We can see the domain and then the user of LDAP. And then we check the bind request. We move on down into authentication, and we can get the unencrypted password actually out of here. From there, actually get rid of Wireshark. Or actually, I'm going to save this. We'll stop the capture and save it. Whatever. LDAP, because it's the LDAP user. And that is where we are right here. So again, host of support, LDAP. And speaking of, let me check my Etsy host file, because here we would have gotten this from the mmap file. Mmap, there we go. Support.htb. And 230.181. Okay. Nice. Yeah, so you can see I had to run some stuff in order to get wine to work, in order to get mono to work, in order to get the user info to work. Yes. Okay, cool. So now, with the exception of this last bit, we can use netexec to see if these credentials work, which undoubtedly they should. And then from there, we can get a list of users from impacket with impacket. Impacket, look up SID. Yes, and then I like to cut. Here, I can just kind of show you what it's doing, right? What it looks like at each stage. Yeah. All right. Let's do impacket, look up SID, and we'll kind of pull all of this out. And what am I doing wrong here? My clipboard, yeah. Impacket, a lookup SID support LDAP at 10, 129, 230, 181. Cool. So now we've got a list of users, and what I'm going to do is first cut here, cut on a delimiter of space, and then I'm going to grab the second field, and then I'm going to, from there, cut on a delimiter of backslash, and then we're also going to get the second field again, and that'll kind of give us all of these different user accounts. Well, holy shit, that still worked. Yep. All right, so now you can see we're cutting delimiter space, field 2, cut, pipe that into cut, delimiter backslash, field 2, and then into users.text. So let's check this out. And we do have users.text. We're going to move that. We're going to move that up a directory, and then we're going to get the hell out of this support directory. Great. So now we can see our users.text. I also have these files in here because I did not want to I didn't want to have to go and copy them again, but just know we're going to need them in a little bit. So now we've got users.text file. If we cat users.text, we can see got a full list of users and then some extra junk that we actually don't need. Overall, me doing that, getting the users, didn't make all that much of a difference because, well, we got an LDAP user or a user that can query LDAP, and so we can use something like LDAP search to actually pull information out of it. I'm just going to go ahead and run the string. And then as we're scrolling up, something interesting, actually, I guess it's not all that interesting, but something that a lot of administrators do and organizations do is for service accounts, things of that nature, they'll actually end up storing passwords in like the description fields inside of Active Directory. And it's kind of what we run into here, except it's in a field that I've not seen before. If we can get to it, I may have already passed it, to be entirely honest with you. Kind of scrolling up through this list. Let's see. Here it is. Right. So this info field, what we're doing is we're pulling out all of the information about each user in support.htb. And then we're using TACD that's going to allow us to supply like essentially credentials. And then lowercase w is for us to supply the password. There's also uppercase W, and you can just paste it in. paste in the password, the bind password instead. Anyway, inside of this info field, we see Ironside 47. What is that? Pleasure 40 watchful. Yeah. And then from there, we can, you know, go around and test it, see how we can use that. We can do just testing to see if it will work with WinRM. It does. It comes back as pwned, which moves us on to the next phase and also gives us our initial access, right? Or at least from this point, we've been able to pivot from the LDAP user into a support user with these new credentials. Nice. And then let's see. CD. Let's do this because we're actually going to run BloodHound. Make their blood, CD to blood. And then we're going to do, is it BloodHound tag Python? Yes. Okay, BloodHound tag Python. Domain of support.htb, user for support, password of Ironside 47, pleasure 40, watchful, DC, good lord, the computer's name, the computer's DC, computer name is DC. So we're on a domain controller .support.htb. We're going to get everything and then the name server of the IP, the domain, the DC's IP. While that's spinning up, I'm going to start BloodHound. I'm going to have to clear out the data because I didn't do that before. And I'm also going to have to start Neo4j. Start. Maybe a short delay. Yeah, you're not lying. Come back in here. So looking through, we can see that it was able to query a bunch of information, pull out a bunch of information for us. And then we've got all of our JSON files here. And as soon as this spins up and connects, I will connect to the, might actually need to close this and then start this up first. Neo4j is already running. BloodHound. Come on, baby. Cool, so it's gonna go ahead and put us in. I guess I'm not gonna pause. I'm going to clear out the database so that we can start fresh. Your database. Deal. So now let's ingest our data. Let's upload our data. Documents, HacktheBox, support, blood. And then we will upload all of these. And it won't take too long. It's pretty quick. Processing Azure. Okay, cool. Let's get rid of that. And then let's look at our two users that we have so far. We have LDAP. We've pwned LDAP. We can go ahead and mark him as owned and then have the support user as well. Nope, that is the support, the domain support. Support at support.htb. There we go. And then we pwn support. Some other information I guess we should check real fast. Stuff like net user support, and see what groups they're in. Again, so here we can see that they're in a group called shared support account, remote management users, and domain users. So we can actually come over here and do, what is it? Was it support what? Shared support account. There we go. So we actually also own this group, right? Yes. Now let's come back over and we will check for the shortest path from own principals to domain from own principals. So we have our support user. and we're already on dc.hcb. The interesting bit here is that shared support account has generic all, which will allow us to abuse resource-based constrained delegation. And we're going to do this by utilizing Rubeus and our, let me see, do I have it on here? I think it's up a directory. PowerView and PowerMad. Basically what we're going to end up doing is creating a computer account. We're going to supply that computer account with, where is it? This. MSDS allowed to act on behalf of other identity. We're going to allow them to act on behalf of like administrator user, and then we're going to use Rubeus. Once we get our RC4, we're going to be able to impersonate the administrator account. And then I actually had a lot of trouble with this step, ton of trouble. It's kind of good that we're going over it again, but we do not need this anymore. We know what attack we're going to be using, and hopefully I am in, let me see what directory I'm in. Good. So now we can upload our view.ps1. And then I think that we're going to have to bypass the execution policy. I've kind of got what we're going to do off over here to the side. And I will be copying these commands. PowerView.ps1. Let's see if we can just do it with PowerView. Actually, we should get the bypassing. Oh, we didn't. We didn't have to. Really? Okay. Let's see if it'll let us create this account. And then we can celebrate. Again, so we're going to make a new machine account. We're going to call that account NoxLumens. By default, I want to say that each user account is able to create 10 computer accounts. I want to say that that's the case. Anyway, then we're going to do tag password, convert to secure string, password 123 as plain text, and then we're going to force. And it didn't get it. Okay, so let's upload our mad.ps1, then run it. Our mad.ps1. New machine account. Failure. What is it saying? We're missing a bracket. Okay. Missing the back on secure string. No, we're not. Oh, it's at the end here. Good lord. Oh, stop it. Oh, just stop. Okay, it killed the whole session. We'll start over. Figure that out. Power mad.ps1. Power view.ps1. And yeah, I see that I missed it at the end there. New machine account. Again, creating a new machine account. NoxLumens, called NoxLumens, with a password of password 123. Okay. Now let's make sure. Let's make sure that principal. There we go. Make sure that our account is on here, so we can do get AD computer tag identity NoxLumens. Nice, and we can see our new account. And there's our same account name. Okay, and now we can configure the resource base constraint delegation using power view. What I'm going to do is now we're going to set AD computer identity, DC properties, principals allowed to delegate to the account. And we actually need to add our computer account on the end. And I need to spell properties right. No, I don't. So now we need to set, or now we need to configure resource-based constraint delegation with power view. And we're going to do that by setting the computer the principals allowed to delegate to account with our computer account that we created. So set AD computer identity DC principals allowed to delegate to account NoxLumens. Awesome. And then we can test that with this account. So get AD computer identity of DC. And then the property that we want is principals allowed to delegate to account. I might need to just end up copying this. Account properties delegate into account. Yeah. Cool. And then here we can see the DNS hostname. Principals allowed to delegate to account. The NoxLumens and computer to support DC member. Yeah. Okay. Now we can check the value of the MSDS allowed to act on behalf of identity with this command. Where is it? Allowed to act on behalf of identity. So get domain computer, the domain computer DC, and then pipe that to select. And then it should have data in it. If it doesn't have data in it, we've done something wrong. Clearly, we've done something wrong. Main select MSDS allowed to act on behalf of other identity. That's what the problem is. That's why we got no output there. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Now we can proceed. Now we need to convert the bytes to a string to understand what's going on, which is where this comes in handy. We're setting a variable of raw bytes to get domain DC, the property that we're searching for. Then we're going to pipe that over to select and expand the allowed to act on behalf of other identity property. We'll take that and we'll convert that to a raw security descriptor object. And then again, we have a variable of descriptor, new object, security.accesscontrol.raw security descriptor, an argument list of raw bytes. So it's the expanded MSDS allowed to act on behalf of other identity. And now we can print the security descriptor and the discretionary ACL class. Pasting these bad boys in. Security access on common A's. And allowed access, callback, opaque, security identifier. And this should be our 6101. 6101. Okay, cool. So it's our SID from our computer. Hello? There we go. Now it's time for Rubeus. And I had more of a hard time with this because with like setting the attack up. I mean, you saw what I did earlier where I didn't have other in here. And it just, I didn't understand what was happening. Yeah, this is a long process for me, and it's actually going to take a lot more learning on my part to fully understand, like, I guess each part individually. But now we're ready to perform the S4U attack and see if we can use our access to impersonate the administrator account. And then let's upload Rubeus. Dum, dum. Once we have Rubeus uploaded, we're going to get the hash. So now now that we have Rubeus uploaded, we need the hash of the password that we set for our computer account. So we're going to do Rubeus.exe hash / password. Our password was capital P password 123. And then our user account, which was NoxLumens, our computer account, I should say. And then the domain is support.htb. And then we are looking for this RC4 HMAC value, which will go into our next command. Which I actually don't have out here. It's fine. I'm going to go ahead and copy this Rubeus as well. I need this. Copy, copy, copy. And we'll hash the password, computer password. And then this is the RC4 HMAC. Excellent. Now we can generate the Kuros ticket for the administrator account with Rubeus again, but not over there. Rubeus.exe, S for U, and then the user account again of NoxLumens. We need the computer account and then the RC4. So our encrypted encoded password. Need the hash value. There we go. And then we will impersonate the user administrator. And then we're going to let the MSS DSPN to the computer name of dc.support.htb, and then we're going to set the domain to support.htb, and then finally we will pass the ticket / pass the ticket. And I clearly messed something up. Rubeus, S for U, NoxLumens. All right, let me get this worked out. We'll see what I'm doing wrong, and then I'll try to explain it. Okay. Found out what it was. It's this. I wasn't using the right user account. There we go. There we go. Now it's working. And we need the third base 64 encrypted string, encoded string. So we need this ticket.kirby. Copy that out, and then we need to get rid of the white space. Sublime ticket.kirby. Paste that in. And or Shift H, is it? What is it? Control H. Find all and replace it. And let's remove word draft to make sure. Okay, good. Now we've got the last base64 encoded script ticket. We've removed the white spaces from it. We could have done that with this tool, this online tool. However, we probably should not be doing that. If we're in like a client's network, we shouldn't be pasting anything really, even if it's something we created into a third-party website. So now we have our .kirby, but it's base64. So let's actually move that. Yeah, ticket.kirby to ticket.b64, and then let's do base64 tag D ticket.b64. We'll put that into ticket.kirby. And then we're going to use impacket-ticketor converter tool to turn that ticket.kirby file to a ticket.ccache. Then we're going to hopefully this works. If not, we can just put it in line. Export 5 to ticket.ccache, and then we can use psexec impacket connect impacket psexec port administrator account and 129 230 181 Kerberos and no pass. Okay, unfortunate. That's okay. What we can do instead, we're gonna set the KRB5 CC name to our, or I guess we'll set ticket.ccache to KRB5. Let's see, we'll paste that in, and then we'll do impacket psexec support.htb administrator at dc.support.htb at k back no dash pass. And it's worked. It's finally worked. And you can see the amount of struggle that I've had here. God. Yeah, you can see the amount of struggle that I've had here. So when I was trying to do this and move through it just straight recording, trying to figure everything out at the same time, it was a huge pain. But we'll come in here and we'll go to C, users, administrator, desktop. Is it users? CD users, administrator, desktop, dir. Can't find path CD users. Okay, that was weird. Administrator and desktop. Type out the root.txt. Awesome. Man. Hey, so I ended up going back over some notes, and I found this old document that I made from the very first time that I ended up doing support. And I noticed that I must have at some point got frustrated with Rubeus. And looking at my commands in here, it's because what I tried to do was follow what was in BloodHound like to the T. Man, this was like just when I was getting into all of this, really. So I ended up apparently using Impacket, and I decided that I kind of want to go into that as well. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get the environment set back up. And then I just want to see it work from the step. Like once I have Kerberos ticket. So we'll go from there. Or actually, no, it looks like I'm gonna grab one. Yeah, so we're gonna use impacket-getService ticket, and then use SMB exec to authenticate. So we'll try that, and we'll see how that goes. Let me get the environment set up. 1 second. Okay, so at this point, we can see that I've got my computer account set up, and we've got principals allowed to delegate on the domain controller. We've got it in there as well. Okay, so that's the setup. It seems we're going to be setting this up a little bit differently. We're going to use PowerView to retrieve the security, the SID, the SID, the computer account, and we're going to import that into a variable called computer SID. I'm going to need to change that because it's not set to attacker system. Select, expand, object SID. Rid of that. All mean. NoxLumens. Properties, object SID. Select, expand, object SID. Okay. We now need to build a generic ACE with the attacker added computer SID as the principal and get the binary bytes for the DACL ACE. Object security access control list, raw security descriptor, argument list. This is very similar to what we did before. Copy all of it out. Attack argument list. Oh, right, because it didn't. This is on a new line and it copied weird. There we go. Now this should work. There we go. And we need to set the newly created security descriptor to the MSDS allowed to act on behalf of other user field of the computer account we're taking over using PowerView in this case. So, yeah, okay. So we're getting the computer, setting the domain object. This probably won't work. I need to get the top half. Then I need to get the bottom half. There we go. Cool. And we're gonna skip this bit, I believe. Before I can impersonate the account, I actually need to update my Etsy host file. Since my my IP has changed. Let's see, 10.213.154. Enter, and then hopefully this will work. Impacket-getService ticket support at HTTP, NoxLumens. I don't know if that $ is necessary. And I have password 123. Okay. So as the DCIP, if I try to use the IP, it doesn't work. It doesn't like it. But if we use dc.support.htb, I misspelled it. We'll find out in a second. Yeah. There we go. Okay. We get our administrator file, administrator.ccache. So now we've we've gone through all the steps that we would have done, we did earlier with Rubeus, except we've done it with impacket instead, which was significantly easier once I got the syntax down right, and updated my Etsy host file. Now let's do impacket-psexec. And we put in the right IP. Oh, that's the wrong IP. We put in the right IP. Oh no, I still need to export it. ls export administrator dot cache here b5 cc name equals authentication information was invalid. And try it with the domain controller name instead of the IP address. Okay, and that worked. So maybe that was my problem. Yes, exec. Yep. Right here. Needed the host name. And who am I? NT authority system. Okay. Well, anyway, this is the other way to do it. With impacket instead of Rubeus. So yeah, I genuinely struggled a lot with this one. So this is gonna have to be something that I probably go over and practice a lot more, just to make sure that I've got it down. Because if it comes down to like having to utilize Rubeus on the OSCP exam, I definitely want to at least have my notes down, and like here we're using it to create a computer account. So this is like, you know, even different from other types of impersonation. So yeah, I definitely have to get this down. But hey, practice makes perfect, and that's what these videos are for. Me to kind of practice and walk and talk through it. Talking through it really helps kind of solidify some concepts, as well as like you know, just forcing repetition, right? And being able to like connect what my fingers are doing, what I'm seeing on the screen, and then speaking it out loud. It's just another way to kind of get a stick inside of my brain and help me. So if I'm helping you, that's excellent. I'm really glad, but just know that you also are helping me become better. So everyone, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. See ya.